I'm Allie GREYMOND. I'm an expert in OCD recovery because for the last 19 years, I've been helping people fully recover from OCD. If you would like to do personal coaching with me, all the information is on youhaveocd.com. You can sign up from there.
Let's talk about the difference between managing OCD and full recovery. As you know, let's go from facts, because I want you to really understand this and see the logic in this for yourself. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to understand it and come to your own conclusions. So, fact number one is OCD switches themes. For most people who have had OCD for a while, the theme either switched entirely to a different one, maybe even a few times. That's also very, very common. Or even if your theme hasn't switched, the thing within that theme that you're worried about most likely switched many times. So it kind of grows like tentacles. It just goes in different directions within that theme. What if this? Oh, what if that? Oh, what if also that, right? Like that. So we know this. That's a fact. We also know that the most common way how doctors and therapists treat OCD is they give you hierarchy, which the hierarchy is only targeting a very narrow set of exposures and a very specific theme or fear or situation, right? They will also give you scripting. Scripting is when you write out your worst fear and then you reread it over and over again until you're supposed to habituate to it. Most people don't even feel the habituation. Some do sometimes. And I've done a few videos on scripting. I do recommend you watch it because scripting can become a compulsion in itself. But that's not, I didn't even want to talk about that part in this video. What I want to talk about is that scripting targets also your narrow theme or your narrow thought of the day. Really, it's for the thought of the day, because that's what we're writing out. What's your fear of the day, right? So let's go back. Hierarchy targets very narrow. Scripting targets very narrow. Also on purpose exposures. Same idea. You're targeting a very specific situation by exposing yourself to it. What would happen if what you are afraid of right now, let's say that you're targeting through exposure, scripting, hierarchy, switches to a whole new thing? As we know for a fact, OCD does. You start all over again, right? New hierarchy, new script, new exposure list, all over again. And then when you get to the end of that one, it switches again. And this is why this idea of you can only manage OCD came to be. It's not that your brain is incapable of full recovery. I have so much proof that your brain is capable of full recovery because of how many clients recovered. And I mean, you've seen some of the testimonials, and I have their tracking, and myself, obviously, I've recovered. And I mean, like, you have audio of my clients talking about recovery. So the proof just keeps going on nowadays. But my clients are not doing this very narrow approach. I mean, we do it a little bit when a situation comes up where they're avoiding and they need to face what they're avoiding. Sure, you can use this as part of your toolbox. But if that's all you are doing, you're just going to be jumping from theme to theme, managing OCD. OCD works like this. It gets fed by rumination, it gets fed by compulsions, and it gets fed by avoidances. About what? Doesn't matter. So if you treat it that I am just done being the ruminator, about what? About freaking everything. I'm just done being the ruminator. I don't care what theme it threw at me. I'm not letting myself ruminate anymore. Or I'm drastically, again, this is where the GREYMOND method, this is how I developed this over the years. Because I saw it as one thing, that your brain is just trying to fill that quota. making you ruminate and get stressed about something, do compulsions because of something. So if you treat it like that, and you say to yourself, I'm done being the ruminator, then it cannot jump to a new theme because you're done here, but you're also done there. You're done everywhere. So it has no wiggle room. Versus with the standard model of keeping OCD chronic, right? Managing OCD, whatever you want to call it, is just jumping from one theme to another. I mean, if you want to switch out the themes, yeah, do the hierarchy. Your theme will switch to something entirely different. But your level of anxiety will be exactly the same because your brain is going to try to fill that quota. So that's the difference. I just want you to understand, because a lot of the times people get really discouraged when they read online. They're like, oh, this person said you can't fully recover, and that person said you can't fully recover, and these people on Reddit are complaining and all of that, because they're all following that standardized method of exposures, hierarchy, scripting. It is ineffective for full recovery. Again, I don't want you to believe me. I want you to see it for yourself, that it makes sense how you can never recover from OCD doing these three things, because you're just targeting a very narrow thing and it just switches. That's all it does. And how it makes sense if you use my method, where we're targeting everything as one, it has no wiggle room to go everywhere else. So you're gonna reduce, and then and your brain changes. That's the thing. Well, technically speaking, everything you do in life, every moment, every reaction changes your brain, right? So, but if you continue to react indifferently all the time, or most of the time, right, improving as you go, because this is skill building, the more you do this, the more your brain stops acting in fight or flight mode. When I was suffering from OCD 20 years ago, I was always in fight or flight mode. I was the biggest ruminator. And it just does not, my brain just does not operate like this. And again, if you look through testimonials, videos of my clients, it's the same stories. You are capable of full recovery, but you need to approach recovery from a position where it makes sense. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you for listening. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. If you would like to do private coaching with me, please sign up through youhaveocd.com. I'll see you tomorrow.